Hello everybody, Happy New Year and welcome to the Age-Friendly Chelmsford Show. I'm Debbie Siriani, I'm the director of the Chelmsford Senior Center, also co-chair of the Age-Friendly initiative in town, and I'm here with my co-host, Lisa Marrone. Hi,
Hello.
also part of the Age-Friendly committee, and also the business development director in town. We have two wonderful, amazing citizens here, and they are volunteers and staff people from the senior center. I have Nickie Bischoff.
Hello.
Hello, great to have you, Nickie. Nickie,
Great to be here.
you are a staff member of ours at the senior center. You now, we met when you, let's see, how many years ago?
Did we meet?
We met,
Well,
you started.
23 years I have been at the senior center, and I met Debbie way back then. I don't remember how many years ago.
About 20.
But quite a few.
3.
And at that point, never thought she'd become my boss.
So Nickie's now working as a substitute for us, a per diem worker in our social day program. And wonderful, and also a volunteer. And we'll talk a little bit more about that after I introduce Marcia Herlihy. Hi, Marcia.
Hi, Debbie.
It's great to have you. Marcia is the new director of the Friends of the Senior Center, but she is a longtime a volunteer of ours as well. How many years?
15 years.
15 years volunteering for the Senior Center in the Bone Builders program as a leader. And but they've been amazing, amazing women who I just really wanted the public to meet and for you to meet.
Thank you.
We talk a lot about, you know, in the domain of civic engagement. So it's so important in an age-friendly community to provide opportunities for people to be civically engaged. And these two wonderful women are completely engaged in our community over at the Senior Center. I just really wanted to highlight them.
Yeah, it's a vital part of being age-friendly is civic participation, volunteerism, engagement, and we need those change makers, those movers and shakers like you two ladies have really made quite a difference in the community. Your dedication, your time, your resourcefulness to keeping it going. It's not easy to do that as a volunteer, but it sounds like you've spent a lot of years, decades as well, just trying to be strong contributors. So, and I'm not overly familiar with the Bone Builders program myself, so I'd love to hear a little bit more about what that actually is.
The, excuse me. The Bone Builders program is an evidence-based program that was developed by Tufts University. And it was introduced to the Lowell area about 14 and a half years ago. Shortly after I had started volunteering at the Senior Center. And I was asked to observe, see what was going on, and come back with my recommendations. After taking part in their training, I thought this would be absolutely wonderful for the community, especially the seniors who need balance and need to work against osteoporosis, which many of them have. And it has become so popular that we now have 3 classes that are full and we have a wait list. But it's wonderful because you don't have to take any drugs. There's no specialty necessary. Just come, be part of the program. There is a 6-month commitment twice a week. And what we have found is everyone has stayed on after that 6 months.
So when people are coming to the program, are they just, is it like a classroom setting? They're learning information, but then they're also, is there like any type of physical part to the program?
Yes, they're free weights. We have to use free weights.
Okay.
They get a doctor's approval before they can be a participant in the class. But once they start, We have free weights, and there's an educational component. So it's all inclusive. It isn't just exercising. The other thing, there is a lot of camaraderie and encouragement from the other people in the class. So it covers a lot of bases for keeping the seniors actively engaged, which is a
Very
real
important.
key thing for me.
Yes, social inclusion.
I think
Right?
so much of that program's popularity is because there's that commitment to the group and having to stay in it for 6 months, that you become melded as a, you know, a community,
Yeah.
a little mini
Yeah.
community and a support system to each other. And so I think that's, and also just because of the amazing volunteers that are leading it and are very knowledgeable. But we do have so many other exercise classes that are just drop in, and a lot of people prefer that because
Yeah.
they don't have to make the commitment, they don't have to check with their doctor or
Yeah.
sign forms and all that other stuff. But Builders is a little more formal because it was sponsored by Tufts and free, and then sponsored through CTI.
So the information they learn, is it something that they can continue on their own after the 6-month program?
They can. They can.
Okay.
But I find that most of them prefer to continue with the class. We do have, in the educational component, they're constantly being quizzed about their protein, making sure there's enough protein. People don't realize as they get older they need more to keep that muscle mass going. Hydration. We are hydrating throughout the entire class because as you age, your ability to sense when you're thirsty diminishes. And it creates a lot of problems for the seniors and hospitalizations because they're not hydrating enough. Simple things you might think, oh, why would you need that? But this is what we do to keep everybody active and able to continue on, you know, as seniors in a safe environment.
Well, thank you for your volunteerism, and to both of you, and to Nickie as well.
So Nickie's a volunteer and an employee.
Yes.
So tell us a little bit how you got roped into both of those.
Well, quickly, I met a woman at church who for 2 years tried to get me to come to the senior center. I said no, 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 and finally, kind of to get her off my back, I said okay, went. And instead of thinking I was going to be with a lot of old people who were going around complaining, I was inspired. As a result, I continued to grow. I started volunteering almost immediately. Have done that in many facets. And then I began to volunteer in our day program. And after a few years doing that, they decided that they needed some per diem people, so when staff was out, they had somebody who could fill in. And they asked another lady and myself. The other lady no longer does it, but I have continued to do it. And it's what I love.
It's an example of lifelong learning.
Yeah.
You're always open to new experiences and at any age, and being interested to learn new things and give back to the things you've already.
Well, giving back is a big part of my
Yes.
life. Has been, not only at the center, but it's part of my life.
Yeah, thank you for that.
When you
Fantastic.
back when I started, Nickie was on the Council on Aging board. Was it, you were on the Council on Aging board and you were also on the program committee, and you trained me when I was the activity director.
A long time ago.
And now I'm her boss.
Look at her now. You
But
did a good job.
but I'm still learning from her every day. So it's been amazing.
Yeah, it's a wonderful place, I will just say that. For anybody in the town who are old and think about not coming because they're old, come. I was inspired, and maybe you will be too.
There's always something going on. There's something for everyone there.
So both of these ladies also, that's just the tip of the iceberg. So
they're being modest.
they really are. Because, for instance, Marcia's the new president of the Friends of the Senior Center. And the Friends of the Senior Center are the fundraising arm of so the COA is like the planning, goal setting, trying to get the town budget and things like that, and then reviewing programs and making sure we're kind of rounded out in informing what we're doing. And then the Friends are volunteers who are there to raise money so we can do those things.
Yeah.
And Marcia, tell me a little bit about how that happened. Do you even know?
No, I was having coffee one day, and somebody recommended that I join in on a small group discussion of, about the Friends, which I knew very little about, except that it was a group of individuals who did great things for the senior center. And I guess I got roped in immediately, and I became an active friend. And then within a year, there was a need to fill some of the positions on the board, and I was asked to become president, and I said no. I said no a few times, not unlike
How'd that
you.
work out for you?
Yeah, and then I said, well, you know, I understand from listening that at this point in your life, it's good to say yes, take that step. So I did, and since July, as you said, I have been president of the Friends of the Senior Center, and I am amazed at the dedication of this group. I am amazed at how well they step up to do what they can to provide as best they can according to their mission statement. And it's been a wonderful experience. So everything I have had a connection with at the Senior Center has been so important in my life, not just for what I try to do for them, but what I get back, you know. And I'd like to see more individuals as they get to this point. If they're lucky enough to get to this point, definitely try the Senior Center. There's so much there as far as resources. And it will be a huge step forward for those who are seniors and are feeling socially isolated. You can't step into that center and ever think you're alone, because you're so welcomed and encouraged to try all these different things. So it's just been wonderful. And we could use you on the Friends, so if you want to do that, let me know.
A little plug.
Gonna do that little sales pitch in there. I went to the website to try to learn a little bit more about what the role is of the Friends, and I didn't realize how involved it was. I thought Friends would just be like, oh, we find this important, we want to be a part of it, but there's an active process, and the newsletter, the fundraising things. They put some other notes here. The bingo, can't mess with bingo. Friends are involved with that.
Yep.
So it really is an added supplement to the things that are going on at the Senior Center, but you bring it up a level through the Friends group. So do you know how large the Friends group is now? Like how many people?
We are in the process of updating our list. I know it's over 100 individuals
wow.
that are direct friends, but what the exact number is, we hope to have within a month.
Yeah.
We have somebody new coming on board who will be dedicated to that.
And if someone wanted to join, would they just reach out to the Senior Center and get connected?
Absolutely,
way?
or on the back of the messenger, there's a little slip on the back,
okay.
and there's a phone number. And it's easy to become a friend, and we would welcome them.
And I didn't realize they were a nonprofit. You're a registered nonprofit
That's right.
entity. And what I read on the website was that it started in 1980.
89.
Yeah, that's an interesting story. It said started in 1980 to raise funding to support the Senior Center, and went on for a number of years.
Yeah.
That led into new construction.
So
In
what actually,
1989,
they pushed for there to be a senior center and raised money and matched what the town was offering
wow.
to build a building, and the Friends furnished the entire building. And so,
Amazing.
you know, since then, different Friends boards decide what their priorities are and such, but they've paid for, you know, staffing before, they've paid for custodial, you know, assistance to the building, they've paid for capital planning projects before, they've paid for lots of programming and, you know, free activities for the seniors. They've paid for a lot of money for Meals on Wheels and our lunch program to be viable, because it's really not otherwise. And they've just been so generous and wonderful.
A lot of enrichment to people, like individuals, people.
Nickie used to be on the Friends board. She can tell you a little bit more
Yeah, let's.
about the history of the
That
Friends.
was way back.
You've done a little bit of everything, Nickie.
Yes. The man who was on when I started is no longer with us. And then another fellow became president. And he was president, I believe, until you took over. He wanted to retire many times and couldn't, because nobody wanted him to leave. He still comes to the senior center, and he's a wonderful guy. But, of course, being on the Friends board and also being part of Ways and Means, they kind of have to work together. I think you will agree with me
Absolutely.
on that. And Ways and Means, at one time I think they were, it was different. The senior center, since I started to go, has changed a lot.
Yeah, that happens.
Yeah,
Yep.
sure it does.
Yep.
Times change. For many years, being on the Friends and the Ways and Means, I ran a dance at the senior center, which brought in oodles of money for 7.5 years, at night with a big band, and it was wonderful. But and that's all, to me, that's all the Ways and Means and the Friends are all pretty much connected.
Yeah, a lot of
because
teamwork.
It's,
Right,
it's,
a lot of
it's
teamwork.
making money.
And having fun at it too,
yes,
right?
It is.
Okay.
It is. It was wonderful. A very good experience, and I still meet people on the street who say, "I remember you from the dances." So it's all good. The senior center's all good. I love
Rewarding.
it.
Yeah.
Part of my life.
Good for
And
you.
another part of what Nickie does as a volunteer is, if you ever walk into the main entrance of the senior center, and right across from the office, that beautiful table that's always
Oh, yes.
decorated, guess who designs and buys and
you?
makes that
That's
and
me.
donates it every
wow.
time she does it.
Wow.
And won't give me any receipts.
I want. It's all.
But it's
all
beautiful.
part of. And people will say, "You pay for it yourself?" I said, "Yeah, a little at a time. I buy things, and then it's a donation."
But it's a nice greeting to come in to see that
Debbie,
right there.
Right,
It's
I think
lovely.
It was you who asked. No, it was Lanier who asked me one time. They always had a pot of flowers, the same pot on the large table as you come in, and she just asked me one time if I would keep the table looking nice, and so I started. And then it became a theme. Every month I change it. And it's, to me, it's inviting when you walk into the senior center. It's warm. And our senior center is warm. Our people are friendly.
Yeah, especially like if you come in all the time, every day, or it's nice to see something January, February, March. It's just you know, so it means that somebody cares, somebody's paying attention, things are going along with the times, and so that's great that you do that.
Yeah, it's work. I mean, it's more work now. The older I get, it's more work. But
And the shorter you get, the more we have to help tape stuff up on the mirror.
that's right. I have to look at someone who's tall. Anyway, but it's inviting. But I enjoy it. I enjoy, I've
what
always enjoyed
counts.
crafts, and
Yeah.
so, and to me, it's like I said, it's warm and inviting when you walk in.
Yeah. Well, you have a purpose. People are now watching for that and expecting the table to be St. Patty's Day in March.
And it's
Right.
amazing when I'm doing it, people will walk by and say, "Oh, you're the lady who does this." So it's satisfying
Good.
when people say,
Good
you
for
know,
you.
it looks nice all the time.
Yeah. Very good.
So, go ahead.
No, I was going to ask, Marcia, so the bone builder is very important. What are some of the other things that the presidential role that you do or that you've observed for the Friends for the Senior Center?
You mean,
Are you part of like planning what's next? Or I know there's a planning committee through the Council on Aging, but how does it interact between the presidency of the Friends to the Council on Aging? How does that intersect?
that's a good question.
That's a big question
Right.
that most
And it
people- yeah,
keeps
but
coming
it's
up.
okay, it's
I even
good.
have sheets of paper that say, this is what the COA does, this is what the Friends do.
Okay. Yeah.
But the Friends, from my experience, and actually I'm getting ready, this is good, I'm getting ready to do a Friends 101 because some of our newer directors don't quite get the big picture. But after you have the offices who oversee, like the treasurer and the clerk and the president, we have all these standing committees, of which one of them right now is the Ways and Means, okay? And the Ways and Means is a very dynamic, active group. That's what starts stirring the pot that bubbles up to eventually become our money-making fundraisers. But in addition to that, we have on standing committees things that individuals who are looking for something to do that may be used in their background. We have a nominating committee, we have bylaws, we have business development, we have, and I'm missing one.
Marketing
Yes.
is a new one, yeah.
So there are a lot of opportunities to help the Friends, and it requires all these different levels.
And finance, yep.
Exactly. The finance committee, I'm thinking of some of the hats that people wear. And everybody works together. And one of the things when we have our meeting this month, that, you know, when I share with them in the opening remarks is, since I have become president in July, what I have observed and seen in action is this group of individuals, many of whom are new volunteers, coming together in a way where there is increased confidence and respect for one another. And it's very open. We don't have individuals working alone in isolated ways. We have leaders for the different activities, but they're supported by everyone else on the board, and any friend who might want to come in and help out. And when they come together like that, it makes our organization that much stronger, but it gives us the energy that sometimes can wax and wane, especially when you haven't had any new blood. But there's a lot of new blood right now, and I'm just constantly amazed at how well they are doing. I'm thrilled.
That's great. That's great. And congrats on being the president of such a great, collection of people. It can be difficult. It can be overwhelming. It's hard to keep your energy level up on regular things. But we had mentioned earlier the teamwork thing. So it sounds like it's really the core of that is how everyone's working together and utilizing or maximizing the people and their skills and their excitement and their interest.
Exactly.
How to harness that.
At this stage in their lives where they're still bringing to the table a lot of the skills that they had and how they're able to utilize them and share with everyone. It's wonderful to watch.
And feel like they have a purpose, even though they may not be working full time or raising kids, right? It's a lot of the domain that you do in the age-friendly program.
Yep, keeping
Yeah.
people, socially participating,
Yeah.
but having respect and inclusion.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I want to congratulate Marcia for sure on the transition in the past 6 months. Like, I think that culture has just increased in being able to work as a team. The Friends are doing a fabulous job, and I'm truly excited for the next year
That's why
to
you're
see
always
what happens.
smiling and happy and
I know, I got all kinds of good team. Come on, join our team, we're having a blast. So we have like 2 minutes left.
Okay.
So in the shortest amount, a quick little blurb, could you tell me a little bit, tell people listening, what does that bring to you for doing these things?
It brings satisfaction to me. What I am pretty much doing now is working in the day program, where people come and you literally sit and you have to be kind of one-on-one sometimes with some of the people. You're helping. I guess the most satisfaction I get out of the senior center, first of all, is friendship. I have many, many friends that I now probably are most of my friends, because most of my old friends have since passed away, sorry to say, but I have so many new friends I've met at the senior center. It's camaraderie.
Yep.
And I think that most of the people who come, you're a volunteer, I'm a volunteer. Yes, I do some per diem. But I think we all go because we want to help people. And the people who come in are greeted warmly. I think we have, I don't know much about any of the other senior centers, but I know that's always been at our senior center. You talk to people, you be friendly. And the new cafe, I think, has really taken off. I will just throw that in, Deb.
It's a hub.
Yeah, it is. People are coming, they're sitting, they're having coffee, they're sitting with strangers, somebody they never met before. I've met many new people in the cafe.
Yep.
And not only from Chelmsford, people who come in from line dancing. So,
Very good.
how did I get off on that tangent?
We're going to have you back.
I'm enthusiastic about our senior center
Yeah.
and what it provides for the seniors.
Well, I thank you both for being such a big part of it. I really appreciate you being part of the community there and creating it with us. And thank you so much. Hope you become part of the community there too. And if you need anything, give us a call. Thanks so much for being here. Happy New Year, everybody.
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.